The Click Between Us. Chapter 1. Upload. My birth name is Min, but online I'm Mint Film. A choice made at 2 in the morning with a mouth that tasted like toothpaste and defeat. It was supposed to be temporary. Everything was supposed to be temporary. Acne, high school, living behind my mother's noodle stall, the heat that pressed its thumbprint into the city until scooters glittered with sweat. Temporary, like the way your heart bangs around when someone says your name in a voice that sounds like a future. On the first day of summer break, the sky over District 6 was white as polished bone. I woke before my alarm and lay on my thin mattress, listening to the city pin itself together. Metal shutters banging open, a distant vendor singing the price of durian in a rolling chant, a motorcycle coughing like a smoker in an alley. "Dight him in," Mom called through the door. "Customers are morning people." I swung my legs over onto cool tile and found my camera where I'd left it on the desk. Charged, lens cleaned, memory card slid in like a promise. It wasn't a fancy camera 2 generations old, bought secondhand from a reporter who'd upgraded, but it was mine. I slid the strap around my neck. It felt like an exhale, like putting on a version of myself that made more sense. In the front of our apartment, the noodle stall took up what most people would consider living room. The metal counter was clean and bright. The giant pot of broth, Mom's broth. Her secret was already simmering, sending up whispers of star anise. She moved between cutting board and pot in a choreography that made cooking look like music. Her black hair twisted into a bun with a pencil she'd shoved through it. "Morning," I said, kissing her on the cheek. She smelled like basil and sleep. "You're filming?" She glanced at the camera and lifted an eyebrow. Her eyes always looked worried unless she was laughing, just for me. The lie came easy. Then I aimed the lens. "Day 1 of the summer series," I said, half to the camera, half to the grease-slicked calendar by the door. Episode 1, Home Base. I had this planned 12 videos in 12 weeks, each one a little better than the last, all leading up to an application to the scholarship program at Saigon Institute of Media Arts. Their brochure had thick paper that felt like money. Their website had acceptance videos that looked like miracles. I watched them the way other people watched K-pop fan cams. In the dark, volume low, lip caught between my teeth, imagining my life in the spaces between cuts. "Don't put me online today," Mom said, like it had just occurred to her that the world might look through me to get to her. "Your aunt is coming later. I don't want a million strangers noticing I'm wearing the same blue shirt I wore yesterday." "I have 4 subscribers," I said, "and 1 is probably you. 1 is me." I clicked the bell, Mom said with exaggerated pride. "And 1 is your cousin who thought you were reviewing mint ice cream." Troy, Mint Film is a terrible name." "Temporary," I said. "Temporary," she echoed, softening, like maybe saying it could make it true. I set the camera on the counter and pressed record. The stall wasn't glamorous. It was metal and steam and repetition. But that was part of it, wasn't it? The authenticity everyone online claimed they wanted until they got it and decided what they wanted was something shinier. "Tell them about the broth," I said. She tilted her head. "What do I tell them? That it takes 6 hours? That if you rush it, it tastes like anger?" I smiled. Mom could be poetic without meaning to. "Tell them about the bones." She laughed. "That will make them click. Bones? They will say, 'I didn't come here for a biology class.' You'd be surprised." I steadied the frame. "Start with hello and sane." Mom took a breath and looked into the lens the way some people look at altars. "Hello," she said. "I am Min's mother. He is supposed to go buy more limes, but he is making me talk to the world instead." We did the shot 3 times. The third time was best, even though the basil basket toppled in the background and I swore quietly. "You don't swear on the internet," Mom said, trying to look stern and failing. "The internet is forever." "So is Basil," I said, catching the basket with one hand and the camera with the other. Sort of. By 7:30, the sidewalk was a river of sandals. Motorbikes parked at angles like fish bones. We served bowl after bowl, and I filmed in moments, steam rising like ghosts. Mom's fingers moving faster than speech, the way a customer slurped, then closed his eyes like he was somewhere else. A kid about my age leaned on the counter and watched me watch them. "You a vlogger?" he asked, teasing, except not mean. He wore a school uniform shirt unbuttoned at the collar and had hair that had lost an argument with gel. "Filmmaker," I said, which felt like wearing a jacket 2 sizes too big. Or trying. "You should film the Rooftop singers," he said. "They practice across on the 8th floor. Every Wednesday night, they sing ballads that make the alley cats cry." "You come here a lot?" I asked. "Only when I skip school," he said. "Today is Wednesday. Today is Thursday," I said. "See? This is why I need you." He grinned, then paid for a bowl and left, whistling off key. By 10, the line slowed. I wiped down tables and packed the camera away. Sweat slid down my neck, and the city had begun to shimmer, heat rising off concrete like a Roomba. Mom ladled one last bowl, then leaned her elbows on the counter, looking at me the way she does when she's trying to say 10 things at once and picks none of them. "Your Aunt Lynn has been calling," she said. "She thinks you should come out to District 2 on weekends. Your cousin can introduce you to the manager at the phone store. Part-time work, money for school." "I'm making something," I said, gesturing to the camera bag. "You saw the schedule. 12 videos." "Schedule," she repeated, like she was putting it in her mouth to see how it tasted. "I like schedules. Schedules are promises you make to yourself." "Exactly," I said, surprised by the way my chest loosened when she said that. She nodded, then tucked a stray hair behind her ear with a pencil. "Do the schedule, but if you also work weekends, we can stop using the cheap fish sauce. My broth deserves better." I laughed, then stopped when I realized she wasn't entirely joking. "Think about it," she said. She reached across the counter and squeezed my fingers. Her hands were warm. "And go buy more limes. You can film the journey if that will make you walk faster." The market was a kaleidoscope. Stalls crammed together under a sail of blue tarps. I threaded through them, bargaining for limes, grabbing a bag of ice, filming in quick, almost shy bursts. The camera made me braver and smaller at once. It turned me into an observer, which meant I didn't have to be the scene. When I got back, a boy was sitting on the curb with his elbows on his knees and his head in his hands. He wore a backpack like it weighed as much as a decision. The air around him looked tired. "You okay?" I asked, before I could talk myself out of it. He looked up. His eyes were rimmed red, but not from crying. "Dust, maybe, or not sleeping." "Fine," he said. His voice was English with an accent like mine, Vietnamese that had learned to wear sneakers. He picked at a loose thread on his backpack. "I'm waiting for someone." "Okay," I said, awkward, because I'm fluent in 2 languages and none of them help when it's emotion. I lifted the camera halfway, then lowered it. You don't film people sad on the curb without asking. You don't make content of strangers unless their pain is a brand they're selling you. You want water? He blinked, then nodded. I ducked inside, filled a plastic cup, handed it to him with a straw. Thanks, he said after a long pull, like water had vowels and consonants. I'm Khoa. Min, he pointed at my camera bag. You make videos? Trying, I said. My mom says it looks like I'm always borrowing a future. Khoa smiled faintly. My dad says that if I film enough, I'll forget how to look. He stood, shouldering his backpack like he had a choice. I'm meeting a music tutor. She's late. I'm supposed to learn a song I hate for an entrance exam I'm not sure I want to pass. Wow, I said, because sometimes the only honest word is small. What song? He hummed a few bars. I recognized it from weddings and karaoke rooms and late-night television, the kind of ballad that feels like you're walking slowly through rain in black and white. I can shoot you practicing, I said before my brain's adult supervision woke up. We could make it look like a short film, shadows on the wall, fingers on strings, the struggle, the hope. The algorithm loves struggle and hope. Khoa raised one eyebrow. His face had the kind of symmetry the internet pretends is accidental. The algorithm loves anything that looks like a confession, he said. Do you? He looked at me like there was a third answer besides yes or no. I like knowing who's watching and why. He tend to be. We can keep it unlisted, I said quickly. Just practice for both of us, he considered. The market noise filled the pause. Chop, clatter, a baby wrinkling its face before deciding whether to cry. Okay, he said finally, but if I hate it, we delete it, obviously. The word came out too eager. Deal. We shook on it like we were making a trade time for time. The tutor never came. Khoa messaged her twice, then slid his phone in his pocket like it had offended him. She was recommended by a friend of my mom's, which means I will never meet her and she will collect money anyway. Come upstairs, I said. We have a roof. Then, realizing how that sounded, I added, a noisy, very public roof with neighbors who will judge our mistakes and our haircuts. Perfect, Khoa said dryly. Our building was 5 stories with narrow stairs and walls painted the color of an old hospital. Every landing had a calendar with a different animal glaring wisdom at you. We passed Mrs. Tran on the 3rd floor watering plants and gossip. She smiled at my camera and narrowed her eyes at Khoa, the way people do when they're making up a story they'll tell later. The roof door stuck, then gave with a sigh. The roof was a quilt of tar and laundry lines. From up here, the city was a map you could read with your nose grilling pork, wet concrete, gasoline, incense, whenever someone lit it for reasons they didn't explain. The skyline shrugged toward the river. 1,000 windows blinked. Set up there, I said, pointing to a corner where the light was a patient gold. We'll let the shadow of that water tank cut across like a diagonal wipe. You talk like this all day? Khoa asked, amused. He took his guitar out of the case. It was a cheap one, with a sticker of a cartoon bear peeling on the back. Only when I'm trying to convince reality to be cinematic, I said. You good to play? He tuned with quick, practiced twists. Good enough to know when I'm not? I set the camera on a tripod, framed a wide shot, then moved in for hands and jaw and the line of his throat. Play the first verse, I said. Don't worry about mistakes. We'll cut around them. He played. The song was syrupy, but his fingers were crisp. The chord changes had teeth. He wasn't showy, but something about the way he leaned into the minor chords made the air sharpen. A line of sweat gathered at his temple, and I tracked it with the lens like gravity had invented the scene for me. Again, I said. Slower on the bridge. Let the note die and then bring it back. Like you're asking permission. Khoa smirked. Asking permission from who? As an ad. The note, I said, and he laughed like it was both ridiculous and correct, which is my favorite kind of laugh. We worked until the light began to go purple. Down in the street, a vendor sang out for sugarcane juice, syllables stretching like taffy. On another roof, a little girl jumped rope with a friend, their shadows skipping beside them like loyal dogs. The city kept going, indifferent to whether we were making something no one would see or something too many people would. When we finished, Khoa leaned against the wall, sweating through his shirt. So? He asked. So what? So is it good? The question was naked. It felt like someone holding out their palm and asking you to measure the weight of their heart. It's not what you think it is, I said carefully. It's not a cover video. It's a character study dressed as a practice session. It's you, but not all at once. It's a beginning. He nodded like he'd been holding his breath for hours and finally found the surface. Can we keep it unlisted? For now? Yeah, I said. For now. We went downstairs, took turns with the shower that barely warmed, ate leftover noodles hunched over the counter like suspects in a police procedural. Mom took one look at us and raised a single eyebrow that communicated novels. Friend? She asked. Client, Khoa said, deadpan, and Mom laughed so hard she had to set down the ladle. After he left, I edited in my room while the fan breathed damp air across my face. Editing is mostly subtraction, I've decided. You take the hours and shave away everything that isn't the thing. You keep what hums. You delete what apologizes. I cut the rooftop into something lean and patient. Khoa's fingers pressing grooves in strings, the tremble of his wrist, a close-up of the water tank shadow inching across his shirt like time. I laid the city under its cars, a dog barking, the rumor of voices, then pulled it out until only a thread remained. I adjusted color until the sky pretended it would stay. At midnight, I exported. The progress bar crawled. I messaged Khoa the link, unlisted, as promised. He responded right away. Asterisk, asterisk, watching, asterisk, asterisk. I waited, pinging between tabs, refreshing even when there was nothing to refresh. A gnat whined in the corner. Outside, someone laughed, then shushed themselves. My mother's sleep sounded like the memory of waves, the kind she stood in as a kid. Asterisk, asterisk, it's good, asterisk, asterisk. Khoa wrote, and then asterisk, asterisk. It made me sound like I know what I'm doing. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. You do asterisk, asterisk. I typed, then erased, then typed again, because sometimes the obvious is the most important surprise. Asterisk, asterisk, okay to share with my cousin? Asterisk, asterisk, he asked. Asterisk, asterisk. Unlisted, asterisk, asterisk. I reminded him. Asterisk, asterisk. Right, asterisk, asterisk, he said. Asterisk, asterisk. I just want to show someone who thinks I can be more than one thing at once. Asterisk, asterisk. I stared at that for a long time. The screen reflected in my eyes, and for a moment I could see myself looking back. Boy with camera, boy with plans, boy who pretends the lens is a window and not a mirror. Asterisk, asterisk, share. Asterisk, asterisk, I wrote. Asterisk, asterisk, to anyone who would be kind. Asterisk, asterisk. I slept like a person who'd done something irreversible and was pretending he hadn't. The next morning, I woke to 37 messages. I've never been popular, so this felt like finding a different name in my own mouth. My phone buzzed across the nightstand like it was trying to leave me. Asterisk. Asterisk, bro. What the fuck? Asterisk, asterisk. From my cousin at 16 a.m. Asterisk, asterisk. Who is that boy? Asterisk, asterisk. From Tao in biology. 3 heart eye emojis. Asterisk, asterisk. You made me cry. I hate you. Asterisk, asterisk. From Jen, a friend of a friend, which is to say a stranger who knows my jokes. There were also 2 messages from unknown numbers. The first was simply, asterisk, asterisk, this is my favorite minute of the week. Asterisk, asterisk, no punctuation, which made it feel like a dare. The second was a link. I don't click links from strangers. I tell myself this every day, like a prayer. I clicked the link. It went to a video posted by an account named at Cousin Culture, which I later realized belonged to Khoa's cousin. She'd taken my unlisted link and screen captured the whole thing, then posted it with soft subtitle overlays in English and Vietnamese, intercutting reaction shots of her crying and whispering when talent meets intention, and tagged 5 friends and 3 hashtags I will not repeat because they make me feel like a dad. It had 58,000 views. 58,000. I stared at the number until the zeros started to blur. The comments scrolled like confetti. People said things I wanted to print out and tape to my mirror. People said things that made my stomach peel back. Someone wrote, asterisk, asterisk, this boy looks like the crush in a web drama. Asterisk, asterisk. And someone else wrote, asterisk, asterisk, he's mids asterisk, asterisk. And someone else wrote, asterisk, asterisk, the editing makes this asterisk, asterisk. And I didn't know which one turned me into air. My video was unlisted. That was the thought that kept stuttering in my brain like a line of audio that won't sync. Unlisted doesn't mean invisible. It just means hidden in a room where the door is open. Khoa messaged, asterisk, asterisk, I didn't know she would post it. I told her to take it down, asterisk, asterisk. I stared at that, and then at the comments again, and at the view count climbing like a daredevil who refuses harnesses. I wanted to be angry. Instead, I felt a lightness that scared me more. Asterisk, asterisk. It's okay, asterisk, asterisk, I wrote, which wasn't entirely true. Asterisk, asterisk. It's exposure. Asterisk, asterisk. Khoa didn't respond right away, then asterisk, asterisk. I feel like I walked into a party wearing pajamas. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. You look good in pajamas. Asterisk, asterisk. I typed, then left the joke there without sending. The rest of the morning unraveled. A popular account reposted it. Someone clipped the moment when Khoa slowed the bridge and captioned it, when you let the note ask permission, which made me want to throw my phone into the river and also kiss the internet's forehead. People tracked down the original link and found my channel. My subscriber count went from 4 to 212 in an hour, and then to 1,000 by lunch, and then to 2.5 by the time the sky flushed. The door of the stall jingled. Aunt Lynn swept in like a ship that knows it's gorgeous. She wore sunglasses the size of a small city and a dress that looked like it cost more than the rent for our whole building. She smelled like jasmine and efficiency. My influencer nephew, she declared, kissing the air near my face. I knew you'd figure it out eventually. You called yesterday to say he should sell phones, Mom said flatly. But her eyes flickered to me with something soft that I tried to memorize. Phones, content, it's all the same, Aunt Lynn said, waving a hand. Screens are screens. Opportunities are opportunities. I brought a friend. The friend was a man in a linen shirt with a watch face that might have been a small planet. He had nice teeth, which tells you nothing except that he knew he had them. Ha, he said, offering a card. Talent manager, entertainment group. It wasn't his real name. Or maybe it was. The card was heavy enough to be a kind of weapon. The logo pulsed a color that insisted, I manage bright young things, he said, smiling at my mother like he wanted permission to take something from me. I connect them with brands, with money, with audiences. I polish them, I protect them. I make sure they don't trip over their own luck. I don't have luck, I said. I have an unlisted link that got stolen and turned into 30 seconds of snot-crying content. Ha laughed like that answer proved he liked me. He has wit, he said to my aunt. Wit translates. Mom watched him steadily. She was born in a small town I've never been to and swears she never had to learn to read people because where she grew up, people only had one face. He's a child, she said, not unkindly. Ha leaned on the counter exactly the way bored rich people do in dramas. He's an audience. More accurately, he's a door to an audience. He looked at me. We should talk. Here's AD's months. I looked instinctively to the camera bag and realized how quickly a tool can become a shield. Part of me, the part that loved the smell of new notebooks and the way storyboards looked pinned to a wall, warmed to the attention. The other part wanted to grab the link, shove it back into the dark, and hold my palm over the keyhole. What do you want? I asked. It felt like a brave question until I realized it was exactly the one he wanted to answer. I want to help you make things that pay, he said, and in exchange I get a percentage. Very standard. Your aunt can scream at me about the contract in a cafe with good lighting. Everyone wins. Mom turned to me. What do you want, Min? It has Casey. That's the only question that matters. Other questions wear nicer shoes, but that one is barefoot and honest. I want to make the 12 videos, I said, surprising myself with the steadiness. I want to apply to Saigon Institute. I want to not be stupid about money. I want to not be a headline. Then make your videos, Mom said. Relief slid across her face like a cloud giving up. You can talk to this man if he can help you do it without selling your grandmother's altar. Ha put a hand to his heart. I love altars, he said gravely, which I'm pretty sure was a joke, but still made me want to lock the cash drawer. He slid the card across the counter. Call me when you're ready to stop pretending that art and audience are enemies. They're cousins who like to fight. He left with my aunt, the smell of their perfume trailing behind like a commentary. The stall exhaled. Mom and I looked at each other over the broth pot. You're in the world now, she said, equal parts proud and warning. It will try to name you before you know your own name. I already have one, I said, and my mother's mouth twitched. 2, actually. She rolled her eyes. Mint film, she said, like a curse and a blessing. At least brush your teeth. The rest of the day blurred, the way days do when the internet has decided to put you under a heat lamp. Khoa came by that evening after his supposed tutoring session and stood on the sidewalk like he'd forgotten how to get taller. He was wearing the same shirt which I felt was important. People found me, he said, in my DMs, in my email, In a comment on a photo from 3 years ago of me holding a crab. Who comments on crabs? Crab influencers, I said weakly. I asked my cousin to take it down. She cried and said I was buzzkill. She said I was allergic to opportunity. Am I allergic to opportunity? You might just be allergic to other people naming your opportunities, I said. Then, because honesty requires eye contact if you want it to count, I added, I should have password protected the link. He nodded, then shook his head, then did both at once. Do you still want to make the other videos? I still want to make the 12, I said. And I want one of them to be just sound, like the city conducting itself. No faces, no names, just noise making a story. Khoa's shoulders dropped a fraction. I like that, he said. I could write a melody that doesn't belong to anyone. Everything belongs to someone, I said. That's the problem. We sat on the curb, not touching but not touching. A scooter flew past, its rider singing harmony with the radio. Across the street, a man painted a sign for his shop by hand, gold leaf sticking to his fingers. The air was a soup I'd learned to breathe. Above us, the first star was actually an airplane. I got a message from a guy with a watch that could crush a mango, I said. Ha, Khoa said. He messaged me too. He says he loves people who don't know they're beautiful. I laughed. He's not wrong, I said, and then pretended I'd meant me, not him. Khoa looked at me full on, like the way you look at a mirror when the room is dark and you want to confirm you're there. Can I ask you something? Why film anything at all? There are easier ways to be seen. In a hand. My mouth did what it does when someone hits a soft place. It told the truth without asking if I was ready. Because I don't trust memory, I said. Because my dad left when I was 6, and even though I tell people I don't care, I'm terrified of forgetting the exact cadence of his laugh. Because I am bad at saying things out loud when they matter. Because the only time I know what I think is when I see it arranged on a timeline. Khoa's face changed like a cloud had moved, and he was newly in shade. My mom says music is a door, he said quietly. You open it and somehow you're on both sides. We sat with that, and it felt like company. The city didn't stop to applaud. That was a relief. That night, I uploaded Summer Series, Episode 1. Asterisk, asterisk, home base, asterisk, asterisk. I cut the intro with Mom and the basil basket falling and the way her laugh makes our house feel bigger, and I added the roof at the end, just 3 seconds, Khoa's hands in the diagonal shadow, no sound except the soft click of a string against a fret. I wrote a caption that I'd tried not to hate. Asterisk, a bowl of noodles, a roof, a song. Episode 1 of 12. Be kind. Asterisk. I hovered over public for a full minute, the cursor blinking like it had opinions. Then I clicked. Not temporary. Not forever. Just now. For the first hour, nothing happened. That's the thing about uploading. It's a prayer without a church. You toss it upward and hope gravity decides to be kind. I answered 2 comments, ignored one that said mid again, blocked a bot that wanted to sell me crypto and cousin wives. I brushed my teeth. I changed my shirt. I put the kettle on like a person who has a kettle and knows what to do with it. Then the comments began to stack. Not avalanche, but sweet rain. Asterisk. Asterisk. Your mom's broth looks like home. Asterisk. 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 The steam shot made me hungry and nostalgic for a country I've never been to. Asterisk. 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 The last 3 seconds. The way you cut the sound. I felt that. Asterisk, asterisk. My subscriber count ticked up. 2,517, 2,601, 2,789. Not a flood, a river-changing complexity. Mom stood in the doorway of my room, watching with the gentle horror of someone witnessing a science experiment that might explode. "Are you famous?" she asked. "No," I said. "Just perceived." She nodded like that was a kind of soup she knew how to make. "Who is the boy?" "A friend," I said. "Maybe." "Is he kind?" "Yes," I said, realizing I meant the kind of kindness that isn't just not mean, but a choice. "Then we can be in the world," she said simply. "Kindness is a life jacket." I leaned back in my chair and let my eyes close, not to sleep but to quiet the flicker. The fan beat the air into pieces, and I breathed between them. From the street, a motorbike revved, kids shouted, someone's radio played a song that wanted to be an anthem and settled for being catchy. The internet kept rearranging itself around my name. I thought of Ha and his card heavy as a lie, and of Khoa and the way his fingers found the note's permission, and of my aunt's sunglasses that reflected everything so she didn't have to see anything. I thought of my father's laugh, now a sound trapped in amber I carried without knowing how to display. I thought of the roof and the diagonal line of shadow like a rule I could choose to follow or not. I opened my eyes and created a new folder, asterisk, asterisk, summer series, asterisk, asterisk. Inside, I made 11 single-numbered bins like a promise you lay out where you can trip over it. Then I dragged a blank text file into the first one and named it asterisk, asterisk, what we choose not to show, asterisk, asterisk. The city outside inhaled and exhaled, as if practicing for something big. I clicked back to the comments and typed, asterisk, thank you for watching, more soon. Asterisk, I erased the comma and typed it again. I didn't say what more meant. I didn't know yet. At 2 a.m., my phone buzzed one more time. From an unknown number, but somehow I knew before I opened it. Asterisk, asterisk. The way you cut the last 3 seconds feels like telling the truth without making eye contact. I looked at the message until it blurred, then replied, asterisk, asterisk, yes, asterisk, asterisk. I didn't ask who it was. Maybe it was Khoa's cousin, finally learning to speak to the thing she'd made. Maybe it was Ha, pretending to be wisdom. Maybe it was a stranger who had learned to name the ache that makes them click. I closed the laptop. I lay on my back. I watched the ceiling ghost in and out with headlights and promises, over and over, in my head. I heard my mother's laugh, and a note that asked permission, and a door opening from both sides at once. Morning was waiting. 11 videos were waiting. The city was waiting to be looked at the way it wanted to be looked at. I fell asleep holding the shape of that in my chest, fragile as a fresh upload. When I woke, the view count had multiplied, and a new message sat like a seed in my inbox. Asterisk, asterisk. Submission confirmed. Saigon Institute of Media Arts Summer Showcase. Asterisk, asterisk. They'd accepted my application to screen one of the summer series episodes at the end of August. I read it twice, then 3 times, then couldn't make the words sit still. Downstairs, Mom stirred the broth, steam wreathing her face. I kissed her cheek, and it felt like a beginning. Temporary, she said, almost mischievous. Temporary, I echoed back. And then, because I think names matter, I said softly, as if to the room, as if to a camera I hadn't turned on, as if to the version of me who needed to hear it. For now. Chapter 2. Signal. The first time I saw my face on someone else's screen, it was on the back of a bus. The ad panel played a loop of videos, food, beauty, a guy juggling knives, and then, for 4 seconds, there I was. A kid with a camera on a roof, the shadow of a water tank slicing my shirt in two. The company logo ghosted in the corner, not mine, and a caption scrolling too fast to be read. I stood on the curb, plastic bag of limes cutting into my fingers, and watched myself exist in a place I hadn't agreed to be. The bus rolled away. For a second, it felt like my mouth was full of cotton. The person next to me, a woman in a visor eating a red bean bun, followed my gaze. "Famous," she said, not a question. "Perceived," I muttered, and she smiled like that was a kind of bun she would try once and never order again. I hurried home, trying not to imagine a world where my face belonged to other people's stories. The city was heat and wires and motorbikes that moved like schools of fish, a rumor you have to lean into to understand. I could feel my aunt's voice in my future saying, "I told you." She would be right and wrong at the same time, the way she often is. Inside, the stall was a choreography of ladles and bowls. Mom looked up, saw my expression, and lowered the flame under the broth. "What happened?" "Public transport happened," I said, putting the limes on the counter. "I think cousin culture sold my face to the Ministry of Buses." Mom's mouth quirked. "We could use the money," she said lightly, and then, seeing the way my shoulders tightened, added, "I'm teasing. Did you film any of it?" "No," I said. "I was busy practicing breathing." She reached over, squeezed the back of my neck. "Then breathe better. We'll need that for the rest of our lives." I turned, as if the camera were already rolling on the next scene. The schedule was taped to the wall by the calendar. Asterisk, asterisk. Summer Series 12, episodes asterisk, asterisk. Episode 1 was crossed out with a thin line. 11 boxes weighted like teeth in a zipper. I had ideas, of course. Asterisk, asterisk. Episode 2, The Rooftop Singers. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Episode 3, Trucks at Dawn. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Episode 4, Aunties and Orchids. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Episode 5, City of Hands. Asterisk, asterisk. They were titles and promises, small prayers to a God that runs on watch hours. "Finish your homework," Mom said, which is how she refers to anything that might carry me forward. "Then help me with the lunch rush." "Homework," I said, and went to my room. I closed the door, and the sound shifted to muffled city and fan blade. My laptop was a patient rectangle on the desk. I opened it and clicked to the email from the Saigon Institute of Media Arts again. Asterisk, asterisk, acceptance to summer showcase, asterisk, asterisk. Dates, requirements. The phrase asterisk, asterisk, community consent forms, asterisk, asterisk, bolded like a warning. The form was attached a simple page with spaces for names, phone numbers, signatures. It made the world look like it could be contained in boxes. There was also a section called asterisk, asterisk, music rights. Asterisk, asterisk. I read it twice, then opened a new tab and Googled times how to use music without prison asterisk. Results were not comforting. I pictured myself explaining to a judge that the city hum counts as a public domain symphony. I pictured Khoa's guitar line. I pictured the phrase statutory damages slapping the hope out of me. My phone buzzed. It was Khoa, asterisk, asterisk. I heard about the bus. My cousin is doing the most, asterisk, asterisk. Asterisk, asterisk. Is she monetizing my pores, asterisk, asterisk? I wrote, asterisk, asterisk. She says she didn't sell anything, asterisk, asterisk. He replied, asterisk, asterisk. It's an auto-pulled compilation ad. They scrape. She's also offering to credit. You asterisk, 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 asterisk. How generous, asterisk, asterisk. I typed asterisk, asterisk. Credit for being scraped, asterisk, asterisk. A pause. Then asterisk, asterisk. I can talk to her again. Asterisk, asterisk. I stared at the screen. I didn't want to make Khoa do a thing that would shrink him inside the group chat that was his family, but I also didn't want to turn into an unpaid stock model. Before I could decide, another message came, asterisk, asterisk, come to the park, music lesson, the real one, moved outdoors, 4 p.m., asterisk, asterisk. I glanced at the schedule. Asterisk, asterisk, episode 2. The Rooftop singers, asterisk, asterisk, sat there, gently accusing. I typed, asterisk, asterisk, be there, bring your guitar. Also, can we talk music rights? Asterisk, asterisk. I love when you sext me with legal language. Asterisk, asterisk, he wrote. Asterisk, asterisk. Gross, asterisk, asterisk. I replied, flushed and grinning at nothing. Asterisk, asterisk, 4 p.m., asterisk, asterisk. The park at 4 was a mosaic of strangers refusing to be alone. Aunties power-walked in matching visors. Teenagers practiced choreography that didn't require music. Grandfathers played Chinese chess with the gravity of surgeons. A little girl in a yellow dress ran in circles until she fell over, stood up, and did it again. The trees made a shade that looked like help. Khoa sat on a bench with his guitar case open and his back straight. Across from him was a woman in her 30s, with a face that could do fractions. She had a metronome in one hand and a pen behind her ear. She saw me and the camera and raised an eyebrow. I'm not recording the lesson, I said, holding up my hands. Promise. She nodded, then clicked the metronome. Again, she said to Khoa, breathe on the 4. You're rushing like you owe time money. Khoa rolled his shoulders and began the piece again. It wasn't the syrupy ballad from the rooftop. This was something with bones. The melody climbed a ladder, hung there, dropped 3 rungs, then found a new way up. The metronome's click was annoying until it wasn't. Then it became the spine. Your hand, the tutor murmured, tapping his wrist. Relentless is not the same as confident. He adjusted. He played. I felt something behind my ribs open a little, as if a window I'd forgotten got unlocked. After 20 minutes, she closed the metronome with a mercy. Good, she said. Still stubborn, which is different from strong, but your stubbornness has tone. Compliment? Khoa asked. Observation, she said, amused. She glanced at me. You the famous one? Perceived? I said automatically. I'm in. When? On, she said, offering a hand. Tell your internet that this boy's stubbornness preceded your edits. I'll put it in the caption, I said, and she laughed in a way that decided we could be friendly. When she left, Khoa flopped back on the bench, hand over his face. If I ever get famous, I want my tagline to be times stubbornness with tone asterisk. I'll put it on a t-shirt, I said, We'll sell it from the stall. Comes with basil." He peeked through his fingers at the camera bag. "Film me?" I hesitated. The park was so full of people not asking to be seen, but the way he said it, quiet, direct, felt like a kind of permission. "Yeah," I said, "if you play something that belongs to you." "Oh no." He sat up, propped the guitar on his knee, and thought for a moment, the way you do when you're listening to a thing inside you that isn't words. Then he began. It was not complex. It didn't need to be. 3 chords that found each other and forgot to apologize. A 4th that introduced itself politely. A grace note, like joking with a friend you've missed. I filmed his hands first, then moved to his mouth, not because of lips, though they were distractingly symmetrical, but because of breath. He did breathe on the 4. He did let the note ask permission. Children ran through frame, and I let them. A kite's tail flicked in the top corner, and I let it. A man selling ice cream trilled his bell, and I kept it because all music is jealous of other music. We stopped when the light skidded toward gold. Khoa looked at me, a question he didn't want to make into a sound. "It will be okay," I said, for once not meaning the internet. He nodded. "About music rights," he said. "If I write something and I say you can use it, we're fine." I read 3 different forum posts that say that's true if you never get paid and false if the universe decides to be generous. I said, "Seema wants releases. For everyone. For everything." "Seema can have my blood, my firstborn, and my stubbornness," he said. "I'll sign." I swallowed. "There's also a consent form for my mom." I pictured the box labeled asterisk, asterisk, signature, asterisk, asterisk, and imagined showing her a piece of paper that turns her life into a checkbox. She'll sign too, probably after a lecture about altars. "I'll sign hers," Khoa offered solemnly, and I barked a laugh that turned a few heads. A toddler stared, delighted to be reflected in a stranger's loud. We sat until the sky went that specific blue that makes streetlights confess themselves. Khoa put the guitar away. We shared a bag of mango with chili salt from a woman whose hands moved like percussion, and for a few minutes the future was something patient. Then my phone pinged. Asterisk, asterisk, talent agreement, asterisk, asterisk, from Ha, asterisk, asterisk. Call when free. Brand wants you to do noodle content with box logo. Good rate. Deliverables, 3 shorts, 1 mid-length, 5 stories. Friendly. Asterisk, asterisk. I screenshotted the message and sent it to Khoa. He looked at it and made a face like he'd just bitten a lemon. "What's friendly mean?" "I think it means they're going to call me Buddy while they tattoo their logo on my eyeballs." We walked out of the park in the slow river of evening. "You'll have to decide what you are," Khoa said softly, "before someone decides for you." "Is that an accusation?" I asked. "It's a warning," he said, "from one stubborn boy to another." That night, I worked on asterisk, asterisk, episode 2, the Rooftop Singers, asterisk, asterisk. They gathered every Wednesday on the building across from ours, on a patch of concrete that had no business being romantic. A plastic chair was their throne. A karaoke mic's wire snaked into a window. Someone had duct-taped fairy lights to a rusted pipe. The songs were wobbly and brave. Nobody was auditioning. Everybody was auditioning for something. I asked first, the way Mom taught me. I went over after dinner with a bag of jackfruit and a smile that suggested I knew their secrets but would never sell them. There were 4 of them that night. A woman with hair dyed the color of dragons, A university boy with exam eye bags, a man who worked for the water company and did ballads like they were policy statements, and Mrs. Lay, who had been singing on this roof longer than I'd been alive. "You can film," Mrs. Lay said, "brightest dentures in District 6, but you must make us beautiful even when we don't earn it." "I can make you honest," I said. "Sometimes that's more beautiful." She studied me a second, and I understood that I was being weighed against people who had promised and vanished. "Honest is fine," she decided. "We are not children. We are older than honesty." So I filmed. The dragon-haired woman sang a pre-war song with lyrics about a river and a promise that the river never intended to keep. The water company man sang a song about a woman who was actually a metaphor for a motorcycle. The university boy sang a song about missing your mother's soup while your landlord raises rent. Mrs. Lay sang one of those anthems that makes the hairs on your arms stand up with old patriotism you didn't know you had. All of it wove together in my headphones into a tapestry that didn't care to be neat. When they took a break, I got some B-roll. Hands holding plastic cups, a close-up of a sweaty mic, the click of someone adjusting a beaded bracelet. I cut from that to a shot of the shadow line sliding across the roof again, because now it felt like a recurring character. I recorded the sound of a train even though it was likely just a heavy truck, because trains say time's leaving time so quickly in a soundtrack that you don't have to spell it. Halfway through, my aunt showed up with a carton of egg tarts and a man I recognized only by his watch. Ha looked out over the edge of the roof like it was a balcony for his monologue. "Community," he said, as if he were a nature documentarian discovering a rare species. "It's good you're filming this, men. Brands love community, as long as it's tidy." "Nothing here is tidy," I said. He grinned. "That's what editors are for." He didn't push. Not yet. He ate an egg tart, got powder on his linen shirt, pretended not to notice. He watched me film with a predator's patience. When the singers started again, he set his phone to record. He didn't ask. A woman in the opposite building watered her plants and then leaned into the light like she wanted to be an extra in whatever this was. At the end, when I turned off the camera and thanked everyone, Ha leaned in. "Just a conversation," he said. "Tonight. No contracts. A brand wants to pay for exactly this. Authentic community. Grit, joy, steam. You stay yourself. You get paid. You buy your school that better fish sauce." And I thought of the form in my inbox. The box for asterisk, signature asterisk, the way my mom's laughter makes our house feel bigger. I thought of the bus with my 4 seconds. I thought of the way Khoa breathed on the 4 like he was talking to time. "Tonight is for me," I said. "Tomorrow we can talk." "KC," he said, as if naming me something noble would earn him a percentage. "A scholar. I like you." "Then you can keep liking me from a respectful distance," I said, and he laughed with real delight, which made me like him against my will. He left with my aunt, who kissed my cheek and whispered, "Don't be so pure you forget to eat." Her perfume lingered like advice. At midnight, I climbed down with the tripod on my shoulder and the battery warm in my pocket. The building stairs were the same hospital green. The calendars watched me with animals who had opinions. Mrs. Tran on the 3rd floor stuck her head out and asked, "Was I in your film?" She hadn't been anywhere near the roof. "Always," I said, which made her beam. Back in my room, I imported the footage and let the progress bar move like an animal in a dream. I opened Khoa's messages. He had sent me a voice memo. I listened, It was the chords from the park, cleaned up, shy at first and then sure. He'd recorded it on his phone. You could hear a rooster from somewhere that wanted to be consulted on all art. Asterisk. Asterisk. Use it if you want. Asterisk. Asterisk. His text said afterward, asterisk. Asterisk. We can keep it ours until you need a contract. I trust you. Asterisk. Asterisk. I pressed my thumb to the screen as if I could leave an answer in skin. I typed, asterisk, asterisk. I'll make a temp track with this. Later, we'll do it right. SEMA needs forms. I need to be the kind of person who doesn't fall apart around forms. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. I can help with falling apart. Asterisk, asterisk, he wrote. Asterisk, asterisk. I'm very good at it. Asterisk, asterisk. I smiled until my face hurt. Then I edited. Editing at night is a different sport. The world outside thins to suggestion. The city turns into a humming bed. Your brain makes sharper cuts when it's dark. I built asterisk, asterisk, episode 2, asterisk, asterisk, like a ladder that decides at the last minute to be a window. The opening shot was a cigarette ember tracing the edge of a face, then a wide of the roof, fairy lights admitting they were tired. Then the first note of the dragon-haired woman laid under images of hands adjusting microphones, faces half in shadow. I slipped Khoa's chords under the intro, low enough to feel, high enough not to be a theft. I let the sound of the mic's click land like a pulse. At 3 a.m., I exported a rough cut. It clocked in at 6 minutes and 52 seconds, which is a bad idea if you believe the god of retention metrics, and a good idea if you believe a city needs time to become itself. I watched it twice. I watched it without sound. I watched it with my eyes half closed to see where the light pooled. Then I wrote the caption, asterisk. They sing for themselves. We listen, episode 2 of 12. Bring your own echo, asterisk. My finger hovered. I scheduled it for noon. The invisible hand, all the advice blogs say is best if your audience is in Southeast Asia and also on lunch break. Then I collapsed. Because sleep was the only other thing scheduled for free, I woke stupid late to a text from SEMA. Asterisk, asterisk, reminder. Consent forms due Friday, asterisk, asterisk. Thursday had already slid under my feet. The bus screen had my face on it again, but with a different caption. Khoa had sent a video of his cousin crying on a live stream because people are ungrateful when you make them famous. Ho had sent a thumbs up and a money bag emoji, and there was a message from a number I didn't recognize. Asterisk, asterisk. I like how you cut around the bad notes. Kinda like a mother. Asterisk, asterisk. I stared at that until it got weirder. Then I grabbed the printed consent forms, stuck them in a folder that had once held math worksheets, and went downstairs to catch Mom. She was ladling broth into bowls for a pair of delivery guys who looked like they hadn't eaten since last week. The pot's steam fogged the air. The smell made my lungs agree to stay in my body. I slid the folder onto the counter. "What is this?" she asked, because she has a rule about papers. "Name it before it owns you." "Forms," I said. "SEMA needs them to screen the episode 1 and probably episode 2 if they like noises." She wiped her hands on her apron, read the top of the page, and nodded slowly. "You need my signature so you can show the world my old blue shirt again." "You looked good," I said. "You look like the version of home that keeps showing up on tired days." "He's from man." She picked up a pen. "If I sign this, do I become a content creator?" She said it with the same tone she uses for lizard in the kitchen. "You become my mother on paper," I said, and her mouth softened as if I'd opened a window. She signed. The way her hand moved was patient and practiced. She pays bills and fills out orders for beef and basil and knows how to sign her name in a way that looks like insistence. "I'll tell Mrs. Tran to come sign hers," she said. "She was surely in your film even if she wasn't." We laughed. The delivery guys slurped their noodles like it was a competition against time. I slid the form into the folder, my heart doing a quiet stutter like it had been jolted. At noon, episode 2, went live. I was on the back steps tying bundles of herbs when my phone vibrated like a small animal in alarm. I checked. Comments stacked like chopsticks. My mother used to sing that pre-war song while hanging laundry. That man is so serious, I want him to manage my water bill. The fairy lights. Who is the boy under the music? I know he's there, even when I can't hear him. I thumbed back a thank you to a woman who said the video made her forgive a city she was about to leave. I blocked the bot that wanted to sell me coin flip NFTs. And then, in the middle of the scroll, was a comment from someone named User 483928 that said, is your father, the Min Ho Hang who used to play guitar at the Hotel Continental? My palm went damp. I stared at the letters until they were not letters. I typed, then deleted, then put the phone in my pocket like it was hot. I knew the Hotel Continental. Everyone knows it, even if you've only stood outside to pretend you're in a photograph. I did not know my father had ever played guitar anywhere quieter than a kitchen. I did not know anything about the life he carried before he put it down at our door and left. I didn't answer, not because I wanted to be mysterious, but because my tongue had glued itself to the roof of my mouth. I brought the form to Mrs. Tran for her signature. She signed with flourishes that deserved their own theme song. I collected 2 more from the Rooftop singers, who argued about whether their signatures should be tilted for better feng shui. I messaged Khoa to meet me at the river after dinner. He responded with a fish emoji and a heart, which, as a sentence, is both odd and perfect. Ha called. I didn't answer. He messaged instead, brand wants first short tomorrow. We can do a soft launch. Mint film Xbox logo. Noodle stories. Easy money. I typed after Friday. Forms first, and put the phone face down. The river at night is a rumor that became a fact. We sat on the concrete embankment and watched the boats push against the current like stubborn men. Khoa plucked at the air with his fingers, practicing without an instrument, the way dancers rehearse on the bus. "Do you know a Min Hoang who played guitar at the Continental?" I asked. The words were rocks in my mouth, heavier than they looked. Khoa blinked. "That's your dad's name, right?" "Min is a lot of people," I said, and felt stupid for saying it. "My mom has stories about that place," he said gently. "They used to go with friends when they had money to pretend. If your father played there, it means he touched a certain crowd, or a certain crowd touched him. He played in our kitchen, I said, on a plastic stool no one respected. He made the stew taste like music when he did. He laughed with edges. I wanted to say asterisk. He left like a sound pressed through a wall, audible but not reachable times, but some sentences you save for the edit. What do you want to do? Khoa asked. I don't know, I said. Do I message a stranger named user 483928 and ask for a story? Do I show up at a hotel bar with a sign that says, looking for the ghost of a man with my face? Or do I make my 12 episodes and pretend the comment was a typo? End it, Khoa considered, then smiled a little. You could make your 12 episodes, he said, and in one of them you ask a question you don't answer. Let the asking be the art. I hate you, I said, which is what I say when someone says a thing I needed and now have to carry. He bowed, accepting my hatred as a compliment. He turned, looked at me full, and the noise of the river dimmed slightly. I wrote more chords, he said, for the Rooftop video. Want to hear? He hummed, low and sure, and his voice slipped into the water like mercury. I recorded on my phone. Later I would drag the file into the timeline and make space for it. Later I would be a person who knows how to hold two truths at once. I want privacy. I want to be seen. Later I would answer, or not answer, the comment about my father. For now, the night was long and our feet swung over the edge, and the city did not need us to finish our sentences. A boat's horn sounded like someone clearing their throat to speak. Khoa leaned his shoulder into mine and didn't move away. I leaned back. It wasn't a kiss. It wasn't not a kiss. It was the space a story keeps for a thing it isn't ready to show. When I got home, Mom was watching a game show and shouting answers at people who could not hear her. I sat next to her and let my head tip onto her shoulder. She threaded her fingers into my hair like she was checking for thoughts. Forms? She asked. Signed, I said. Tomorrow I'll take them to the institute. Good boy, she said, and I closed my eyes, because sometimes being a boy is a job and a location and a lullaby. When the show ended, she didn't move. Your father used to play at the Continental, she said, just like that, lobbing the truth underhand across the couch. I didn't breathe, not always. On Sunday afternoons, when a friend of his worked the door, they paid him in cash and cigarettes. She made a face. I threw the cigarettes away. He laughed like it was a magic trick. Why didn't you tell me? I asked. It came out softer than I meant. Because you never asked, she said. Then, more gently, because some stories live better in the kitchen until you're ready to take them out. I looked at her. The laugh lines by her mouth were not metaphors. They were work. Am I ready? You applied to a school that will make you cut yourself for 10,000 hours, she said. You are ready to bleed for stories. That's a kind of ready. I don't want to make everything into content, I said. I don't want to walk into my own life with a lens. Then don't, she said. Be a boy. Be a son. Be a person who does not press record when he wants to remember. Or do. Just don't do it because someone else tells you to. I nodded. The fan clicked. The city exhaled. I went to my room and opened the folder asterisk, asterisk, what we choose not to show, asterisk, asterisk. I typed asterisk, my father's hands, the way they moved on a plastic stool, the laugh that broke around the edges, asterisk. I did not hit save. The computer did it for me because machines are arrogant like that. I lay in bed and didn't sleep. The darkness was a classroom where someone kept turning off the lights to make us pay attention. My phone buzzed once. It was Khoa. Asterisk, asterisk. I'm scared of being seen for the wrong thing. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. We can choose. Asterisk, asterisk. I wrote, my thumbs confident in the dark. Asterisk, asterisk. Or at least choose what we point to when they look. Asterisk, asterisk. Asterisk, asterisk. And what about the parts we don't point to? Asterisk, asterisk, he asked. I typed, asterisk, asterisk, we keep them. We build altars. Asterisk, asterisk. He sent a tiny temple emoji. I sent a bowl of noodles. It was ridiculous and holy. By morning, the bus ad had switched to a different loop. A man wrestled a durian in slow motion. My face had been exported from the root. Someone else's 4 seconds had begun. I watched a motorbike swerve and not die. I watched a boy in a school uniform trip and then keep running. The city is a compilation ad that never asks your permission. I adjusted my backpack, checked the folder for the forms, and breathed on the 4. On my way to SEMA, I passed the Hotel Continental. I didn't stop. I did look up at the shutters, at the balcony that has been photographed so often it thinks of itself as a celebrity. A man in a white shirt glanced down. He was no one. He was everyone. I imagined a young version of my father on that balcony, cigarette unlit, guitar case heavy, wondering if the song inside him would be enough to pay for tomorrow. At the institute, the guard at the front desk wore a badge that said asterisk, asterisk, bow, asterisk, asterisk, and a smile that said asterisk, asterisk, I have seen many versions of you, asterisk, asterisk. He took my forms, stamped the top page with a noise that declared reality. Good luck, he said, and the phrase felt enormous. On my way out, a bulletin board caught my eye. Asterisk, asterisk. Student projects. Call for community subjects. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Asterisk, casting call. Short film boy with camera. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Lecture. Ethics of Representation in the Age of Infinite Mirrors. Asterisk, asterisk. I copied it down. Wednesday, 6 p.m. I texted Khoa. Asterisk, asterisk. Come with me to a lecture about ethics so we can feel guilty together. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. I love a date with a guilt theme. Asterisk, asterisk, he replied. I huffed a little laugh into the shoulder of my day, and it fit. Outside, the city pressed against the institute's glass, nose leaving a smudge. The sky reflected a version of Saigon that was too clean. I preferred the real one, the one that sweated and sang off-key and put egg tarts in your hands when you didn't ask. I checked the time. Ha would call again. My aunt would send a text with no punctuation and somehow infinite urgency. A bus would show someone else's face. The Rooftop singers would add a new song to their list. The river would say the same thing in 1,000 different voices, and I would try to translate, and I would make the next episode. Asterisk, asterisk. Episode 3. Trucks at Dawn. Asterisk, asterisk. I would wake when the sky was a bruise, climb into a cab with a driver who spoke in aphorisms, follow the city's veins as deliveries became the gospel of morning. I would ask the questions I didn't know how to answer yet. Asterisk, what do we owe the people we film? What do we owe the parts of ourselves we refuse to show? How do you grow up in public without getting erased by your own outline? Asterisk. On the way home, I bought pastries from a woman who called me Dape Tray with the performative sincerity of a sales strategy. I brought one to my mother and told her it was properly sponsored by no one. We laughed, we ate, we put the forms in a drawer like a lit candle you don't forget. Late afternoon swung open. I strapped the camera over my shoulder. I went upstairs to the roof to catch the diagonal shadow when it arrived, because some recurring characters need to be told they belong. As I reached for the tripod, my phone buzzed with a new message from asterisk. User 483928 asterisk. If he is the same min he used to slow the bridge and let the note ask permission. I remember, because it made me forgive someone. Asterisk. I looked at the words until they didn't scare me. The roof was a patch of concrete and sky. Somewhere inside the city, a boy was practicing chords. Somewhere else, a bus was looping a new 4 seconds. The world kept naming me and unnaming me, and I stood where I was and said my own name back. Min, I said to the air. For now, he's as dirt. Then I hit record. Chapter 3, Premiere. At 4:30 in the morning, the city is a rumor making up its mind. The street outside our stall looked like the backstage of a play. Props laid out, tape marks on the floor, everyone whispering and stretching. A truck idled at the corner, coughing diesel into the air like a dragon with a head cold. I yawned, adjusted the camera strap, and told myself this was the kind of dedication the god of algorithms respected. I also told myself I was doing this because I loved it, not because a number wanted to be fed. Don't get run over, Mom said, handing me a thermos. And don't film anyone who tells you not to. The city is not your toy. I remanded Ace. I know, I said. I have consent forms now. I'm a responsible adult. She laughed into her elbow. You're a boy with paper. The driver of the truck leaned out the window. He had shoulders like someone built him out of spare parts and cheekbones that had learned to carry a cigarette. You men? Mint, I said. And then, because that sounded ridiculous at dawn, men. Driver too, he said, which somehow made him sound like a superhero in a reflective vest. You filming or writing? Both, I said. If you let me. He eyed the camera, decided it wasn't a weapon, and jerked his head. I climbed into the cab. It smelled like coffee and rain that hadn't happened yet. Seatbelt, he said. The city doesn't need your ghost. We rolled out, the truck complaining and then committing. The market district was already awake, a mess you can only love when you accept it wants to be a mess. Men in flip-flops heaved crates of produce like they were auditioning for a musical about labor. Women with hands like small miracles negotiated with eyebrows and exhalations. A boy my age balanced a tower of foam boxes on the back of a motorbike and grinned at me with his mouth and his bones. You always up this early? I asked, framing a shot of the truck's rearview mirror, the city in miniature. Somebody has to put the day where it goes, Tu said. If you do it right, nobody knows you did it. If you do it wrong, everybody curses you like you stole their grandmother's rice. Do you mind if I film? You asked. That's already different, he shrugged. I've had people hang out the back like they're saving cinema. They never ask. They think the city is free. It isn't, I said. No, he agreed. It's expensive in ways that don't look like money. We delivered sacks of onions that smelled like arguments, bags of ice that smoked in the air like ghosts leaving, bundles of herbs that felt like someone had shaved a lawn and perfumed it, too, narrated in aphorisms and jokes. People think trucks are just metal and anger, he said, backing into a space that did not want him. But we are veins. We keep the body from falling over. At the fish market, I got splashed by a tail that did not respect my outfit or my art. I filmed the splash and pretended I meant to. A woman whose hands could probably strangle a shark posed with a mackerel, then said, "Blur my face. I am beautiful, but my mother thinks I work in accounting." We laughed and I erased the shot. I put the mic near a pile of shrimp and the sound they made was like someone tearing silk. I made a note, asterisk, use Undercity Sunrise. Asterisk, I made another, asterisk. Don't become a person who thinks shrimp are a sound effect. Ask them for their names. Asterisk, by 6, the sky was practicing colors. We drove along the river and the light caught the water like a lie you want to believe. 2 sipped from his thermos and asked, "You studying?" "Trying," I said. "Summer series, 12 episodes." "Finish it," he said. "Even if the last one is only you making coffee. Finish it so you can say you're a person who finishes. That's rarer than talent. I wanted to put that on a t-shirt and sell it with basil. Instead, I said, "Will you be at the Institute's showcase? They're screening one of the episodes in August." He made a face like he'd just bitten a lemon wrapped in approval. "If there's free cake," he said, "and parking, hey di. In he duedi." We dropped off sacks of flour at a place that smelled like childhood. 2 turned to me at the end as the city started to roar like it had finally warmed up. "Make me kind, if you can," he said. "Not gentle, kind. Gentle is for evenings. Morning needs kindness." "I can't make you what you're not," I said, surprising us both. "Then don't," he said, almost proud. "Make me true and let someone else argue about kind." By the time I got back to the stall, the morning rush was a wave Mom had already learned to surf. I slid behind the counter, did the choreography we've practiced since I could see over the pot. Basil, bean sprouts, a beat. Bowls lined up like chorus girls. Mom looked at me sideways, the way she does when she wants to know if my soul came home in one piece. I nodded. She smiled back. I messaged at 9. Asterisk, asterisk, friendly brand is pressing. Deliverables? We can get a deposit today. Asterisk, asterisk. I typed and didn't send. Asterisk, I don't want my mother's broth next to a box logo that looks like a past due bill. Asterisk, I sent. Asterisk, asterisk, after Friday. I'll call you. Asterisk, asterisk. He replied with a voice memo of a sigh. Khoa sent a voice memo of a chord. That one I saved. The lecture at SEMA on Wednesday was in a room that had the decency to look like a classroom. Whiteboard with ghosts of equations, a film poster curling at the edges, chairs that squeaked dissent. The title on the screen, asterisk, asterisk. Ethics of Representation in the Age of Infinite Mirrors, asterisk, asterisk. The professor was a woman with braids down her back and a voice that could make an argument feel like an invitation. "The camera is a tool and a weapon," she said. "Sometimes, both at once. The ethical question is not just times can I film this, asterisk, or even times should I film this, asterisk, but times who will be wounded if I do, and is the wound worth it, asterisk." People shifted, had opinions, made noises that said they'd been online. The professor clicked, and a slide appeared. A photograph of a man sleeping on a bus, face illuminated by someone else's phone. When you make a person into a picture, she said, you make a decision about what part of them gets to breathe in public. Most people are not built for that. Most people have not agreed to be sculptures. Khoa leaned over, breath warm against my ear. I like her brain, he whispered. She's terrifying, I whispered back. He smiled. So are you when you cut around my mistakes and make them look like grace. I flinched. He saw. He squeezed my knee under the desk. A student in a shirt that made a point raised their hand. But what about community? What about showing the beauty of the people? Isn't that a good? It can be, the professor said. If community is not being used as a prop, if beauty is not an apology for taking, if the people you film can say no without losing the rent. I thought of the dragon-haired woman on the roof telling me to make her honest. I thought of two saying, be true. I thought of my mother in her blue shirt and the way her laugh made our house feel bigger, even on a screen. After the lecture, I waited until other people had said interesting things. Then I said, what if the person you're filming is also you? The professor's eyes softened, like she'd been waiting for the question. Then the weapon is pointed at yourself, she said. You must decide what parts of you can survive being cut into clips, and you must be careful not to confuse bravery with exhibition. Khoa took my hand then. He didn't look at me. He just held on like it was part of the homework. My heart did a dance that would have embarrassed me if it hadn't been true. We walked out into evening. The Institute's glass reflecting a city that was pretending to be clean. We knew better. We liked it anyway. Dinner? Khoa asked. Bancheo, I said. Greece as philosophy. We ate under a blue tarp that had seen storms and recoveries. Khoa talked about chords the way some people talk about astrology. I told him about Tu's line on finishing. He nodded like he was pinning words to a wall in his head. My cousin says I'm an idiot for not monetizing, he said, flipping a crepe that crackled like a small wildfire. She says I'm allergic to momentum. Tell your cousin I have a rash, I said. It's called care. It itches when someone tries to rename the thing I made. He laughed. Then he looked at me, the joke draining out to make room for a quieter thing. You saw the comment about your dad. I nodded. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a folded square of paper. My mom wrote down a name, he said, passing it to me. A man she knows who used to play at the Continental. He's persistent and retired. He knows stories. She said he'd talk if you came with someone who looks like they can refuse a free drink. Do I look like that? I asked. No, he said. You look like someone who says thank you to salt. I'll come. The name on the paper was asterisk, asterisk, Mr. Fook, asterisk, asterisk. Under it, a phone number and asterisk, asterisk, Thuham, 78, asterisk, asterisk. Thursdays, Alley 78. It's Thursday next week, Khoa said. We can go after your episode 3 goes up. Trucks at dawn, I said, with shrimp that sound like silk. Shrimp are notoriously litigious, he said. Get the forms. And, between dawn trucks and evening lectures, between my aunt's texts, urgent in a way that felt like perfume with teeth, and Ha's emails, polite the way businessmen are when they want your moral high ground, between Mom's broth and Mrs. Tran's signature, the days started stacking like bowls. Asterisk, asterisk, episode 3. Asterisk, asterisk, went live. People wrote things that felt like the city talking back in voices I hadn't expected. Asterisk, asterisk. My father drove a truck for 20 years, and his hands look exactly like that. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The way you cut the morning into steps made me remember how my grandma used to hum while sweeping. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. More shrimp silk, please. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Downvoting because I hate diesel. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The last shot is cruel. Why cut away before he backs into the impossible space? Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Because that's the point. He does it every day. Asterisk, asterisk. A reply from someone else. I like them on principle. Ha! Undeterred by my stalling, sent a contract. Aunt Lynn said she'd walk me through it while pretending to let me decide. The brand's logo looked like a map of a place I didn't want to live. The deliverables were friendly in the way a whale is friendly before it notices you are plankton. I wrote a list titled asterisk, asterisk, lines I won't cross, asterisk, asterisk, then underlined it twice. 1. No direct shots of customers without consent. 2. No lies about the broth. 3. No staging what the city gives for free. 4. No making my mother a punchline. 5. No pretending noise is a nuisance. 6. No pretending poverty is inspirational. I brought the list to Mom. She read it, tapped each line with her finger like she was kneading dough. Add, no letting people call you kid when you're working, she said. Even you? I asked. I can still call you whatever I want, she said. I own your baby pictures. I added asterisk, asterisk 7. No kid unless from Mom asterisk, asterisk. And she laughed, proud like she'd cheated on a test she wrote. We met Ha at a cafe that was so aware of itself it might have been sentient. He wore a shirt that had opinions about power and a smile that said he liked being told no if it made the yes more expensive. Lovely to see you when I'm awake, he said, ordering for us in a way that would have annoyed me if I hadn't wanted exactly the thing he ordered. I saw episode 3. Trucks are a vibe. The brand loved it. They want to be the bowl in which your noodles sit. I have bowls, I said. They're chipped. They're not a metaphor. He steepled his fingers like a villain in a children's movie who wants to seem approachable. Let's talk numbers, boundaries, returns. You can put your lines into the contract. We'll add a final cut clause. You'll be cute and principled. They'll be cute and wealthy. Everyone on the internet will get to have their parasocial lunch. What if I say no? I asked. Then I wait, he said cheerfully. Because you're good, and the bus screen never stops. He slid the contract across. It was heavy with wherefores and heretofores and small words that can rip you in half. I read it. I took a pen. I wrote in clauses like I was shoring up a house. Ha watched me with what might have been genuine admiration. We can agree to this, he said when I'd finished. I'll fight for the no punchline mother clause like it was my own mom. And if they balk, we walk. Deal, I said. He leaned back. You just negotiated like someone who's seen 3 different scams and refuses to be a 4th. I'm a boy with paper, I said. He grinned. You're a boy with verbs. That's scarier. I signed. It felt like something irretrievable, and also like a window opened where there had been a wall. My aunt smiled with her whole face and then texted someone so quickly her thumbs blurred. Ha shook my hand like he was measuring it for a glove. Outside, the day had become itself. Khoa was waiting on the sidewalk, bouncing slightly on his toes like he'd been hopping over ideas and didn't know where to put them down. I told him about the contract. He listened, then kissed my cheek quickly, shocking a small noise out of me that wasn't language. Good, he said. You only sold your soul to the ethically sourced devil. You saw a clause about buyback of my soul? I asked, breathless. Paragraph 3, sub G. No possession outside of business hours, he said solemnly. We walked to the river and played our game where we named boats as they passed. Asterisk, determined auntie, stubborn scholarship, gentle diesel, asterisk. I told him about Mr. Fook and the Thursday Alley. He nudged me with his elbow. If he has cigarettes, we throw them away, he said. He'll laugh like it's a magic trick, I said, and only after did I realize my mother's sentence had moved into my mouth. Alley 78 on Thursday smelled like old stories and fish sauce that had won. We found Mr. Fook by following the sound of a guitar played by someone who has nothing left to prove and proves it anyway. He sat on a stool in front of a coffee shop that didn't need a sign. His hair was white where it existed. His fingers were young where it mattered. You the boy, he said as we approached, not making it a question. He looked at Khoa. And you brought someone with eyebrows. This is Khoa, I said. He's here to stop me from making bad decisions. Impossible, Mr. Fook said. He patted the chair beside him. Sit. Order something you pretend you don't like. We ordered coffees so black they looked like they were considering becoming solid. He played a few notes and then put the guitar down like he'd remembered it was a living thing and needed to rest. Your father, he said, Min Hoang. He could slow a bridge until everyone at the bar thought they were the one who gave permission. Eh? He held up a finger. That was the trick. The permission wasn't for the note. It was for the person listening. My chest did that thing where it moved, but I didn't. He played here? I asked. Here, there, the Continental, your kitchen, he said. He played with my cousin on Sundays when the man at the door owed us a favor. He went away to be a better father and then forgot the way back. All it age you say. I looked at my knees because eye contact felt like it would make water come out, and I had a personal rule not to leak in front of elders unless it was raining. Do you know where he is? Probably 10 minutes behind the life he meant to live, Mr. Fook said gently. He looked at Khoa. You play boy with eyebrows? Khoa nodded. He took the guitar like he was being entrusted with a child, played a chord that sounded like you'd ask it to water your plants. Mr. Fook watched, smiled without flourishes. You breathe on the 4, he said, pleased. Your teacher taught you or your heart did? Both, Khoa said. He didn't blush. I did. Your father used to come in here when the day was making him a shape he didn't fit, Mr. Fook went on. He'd order coffee he didn't drink and ask me to tell him something truer than the thing he was afraid of. There aren't enough true things for that. He left you a laugh that cuts at the edges. That's a true thing. Keep it. I wanted to ask a dozen questions with sharp teeth. Instead, I asked, if I film you saying that, does it make it less true? He laughed like I'd told a joke he loved and hated. Boy, you were born in the age of mirrors. You don't need me to tell you that putting a glass in front of a face changes the face. He picked up the guitar, plucked a single note that hung like heat. Film me playing if you want. Don't film the part where I remember and then stop remembering. We didn't. We filmed his hands and the way the alley made room for the sound. We recorded the coffee's teaspoon, making a small circle like a ritual. We left the rest in the air, with the men playing cards and the woman cutting morning glory with a knife that had stories. That night, I edited *** episode 4. Antis and orchids asterisk asterisk until the morning sounded like a rumor again. I kept Mr. Fuchs' hands. I cut his face. I typed into asterisk asterisk what we choose not to show asterisk asterisk asterisk. Permission belongs to the listener until it doesn't. The days ran. Asterisk asterisk. Episode 5. City of Hands. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Episode 6. Rain like a drum solo. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Episode 7. Breakfast for the night shift. Asterisk asterisk. On roofs, in the back kitchens of restaurants where steam and knives negotiated their marriage. I asked permission. I wrote down no. I wrote down yes, and what kind. I wrote asterisk asterisk we can blur asterisk asterisk and meant it. I used Khoa's chords, and then, when the grant money from the Institute arrived in an amount that made me briefly stupid, I paid him to write and record properly. He pretended to be offended, and then spent 8 hours bent over a laptop, making a melody that felt like an alley you loved. We argued about notes, which felt like a luxury. We argued about how long to stay on a shot when the city had already moved on, which felt like a heartbreaking choice you have to make every hour you're alive. I kissed him on the mouth and then apologized, and then kissed him again without apologizing. We learned that you can be 20 and think you know lust, and then realize that a hand on your neck is also a thesis. My aunt brought brands that were friendlier now that they understood I would say no. Hob brought contracts that read like poems with threats hidden in them. I brought lines. We didn't cross them. We made one mid-length piece for the box logo brand that felt like a bowl I could eat from without insulting myself. The internet called me a sellout and a saint in the same afternoon. I blocked the bots and saved the comments that made me look in the mirror and like the person looking back. Mom bought the good fish sauce and didn't make a ceremony of it. Mrs. Tran asked if she would get a cut of the YouTube money. I gave her egg tarts. She declared herself a producer. At night, I opened asterisk asterisk what we choose not to show asterisk asterisk and added asterisk the way Khoa presses his tongue to his front teeth when he's about to argue, the shape my mother's shoulder makes against the wall when she falls asleep on the couch. The name on the back of an envelope I haven't decided to read yet. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Episode 10, asterisk, asterisk, was a near disaster when the power cut out and the sound card ate my morning. I cried into a towel for exactly 23 seconds and then reshot the B-roll because I wanted to be a person who finished. Two texted me a joke about trucks and faith. The Rooftop singers added a new song that made Mrs. Le cry and then laugh at herself for crying, which was better than either alone. Asterisk, asterisk. Episode 11, asterisk, asterisk, was just sound. The city conducting itself. Doors, bottles, laughter, rain on tin, prayers over rice, the ocean disguised as a drain. I put a black screen for the first 11 seconds and watched the view count drop, then recover. Because some people need pictures to trust sound. The comments surprised me. Asterisk, asterisk. I closed my eyes on the bus and felt like I was home. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Thank you for giving my loneliness percussion. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. My kid went quiet for 7 minutes and then asked for more. Asterisk, asterisk. And then it was asterisk, asterisk. Episode 12, asterisk, asterisk. I stared at the empty bin like it was a test that wanted to know if I believed anything I'd said. I could make it a compilation of best shots and call it a day. I could film my mother and Khoa and Tu and the Rooftop singers and pretend the city had applauded. I could show my face declaring a lesson like a YouTuber who has learned how to make sincerity into merch. Instead, I woke before dawn and went to the river. I set the camera on the tripod. I hit record. I stood in front of it and read a list I had written and rewritten in the Notes app at least 20 times. I am Min. For now, I live in District 6 above a noodle stall, where the broth is a family member. I used to think a camera was a shield. It's not. It's a door and sometimes a punch. I made 12 episodes this summer. I finished them. Some of them I like. Some of them have mistakes I'm not going to tell you about. Some of them made strangers message me like ghosts. Some of them made me feel like I was being borrowed. I learned to ask for permission, to take no like a gift, to use yes carefully. I learned to cut around a thing I love so it can survive the seeing. I learned that the city is generous and I am smaller than its generosity. I learned that a brand is only as friendly as your lines are firm. I learned to write down asterisk, what we choose not to show, asterisk, and stick to it when the comment section slams its bowl on the table and says more. I have a mother who laughs like edges. I have Khoa, who breathes on the floor and wrote a song that makes the rooftops remember themselves. I have a truck driver who taught me to finish and a woman named Mrs. Lay, who is older than honesty. I have a father who once slowed a note at a hotel and made a whole room feel like they'd given permission. I don't know where he is. I don't think the video will find him. I don't think it should. I applied to an institute that might break me into better, and they said yes to a screening. I don't know if they'll say yes again in a bigger way. This is not a montage of triumph. This is a boy with verbs. This is a boy who used a summer to practice. I don't know what I'll make next. I think that's the point. Thank you for watching me change and not insisting I pick one face. I stopped. I let the camera run on the river for 30 seconds because water doesn't care about retention. Then I cut. Then I didn't add B-roll. Then I added 3 seconds of the diagonal shadow on the roof because recurring characters need to be thanked. Then I exported. Asterisk, episode 12. For now, asterisk, went live on a Wednesday at noon. The comments did what comments do. They lifted and poked and named and misunderstood and surprised. Someone wrote, asterisk, you're 18? You edit like you've been tired for 50 years, asterisk, and I took it as a compliment. Someone else wrote, asterisk, we don't care about your boyfriend, just show the stew, asterisk. And I deleted them because I am the god of my own space. Khoa watched with his head on my shoulder and made the sound he makes when a chord lands where he wanted. And then it was the asterisk, SEMA Summer Showcase, asterisk. August hung on the air like laundry that refused to dry. The auditorium smelled like plastic chairs and ambition. People who looked like future everythings took selfies in hallways that would eventually be demolished. My slot was in the middle. A mercy. Asterisk, episode 2. The Rooftop singers, asterisk, had been chosen because the committee liked the way the fairy lights looked tired. I wore a shirt with buttons and shoes that made the floor notice me. Mom wore a new blue shirt that wasn't trying to be anything but itself. Khoa wore a black t-shirt because he said he was the music, and music is always minimalist. Tu showed up in a collared shirt that made him look like someone who had decided he could attend whatever room he wanted. Saturday lights went down. Films were projected. Some were so beautiful it made my eyes hurt. Some were so clever I fell a little out of love with clever. Then the fairy lights were on the screen and Mrs. Lay's voice poured into a room used to applause. The mic clicked like a pulse. The university boy sang like he loved his mother's soup and hated rent. The water company man made his ballad a policy. The dragon-haired woman made a river apologize and then told it not to. I felt my own edit decisions like stitches in a shirt I'd put on in the dark. I saw the frame I held 1 second too long and forgave myself. I saw the cut I made a little early and privately congratulated my tired midnight self. I felt the room breathe with the bridge and then hold it, asking permission without knowing they were. Khoa's chord sat under it like a bench in a park. You didn't notice it until you needed it. When it ended, people clapped, not riotously. Enough to make a sound that told me the images had landed somewhere that wasn't the floor. The moderator brought me on stage for questions. The lights made my face pretend it wasn't nervous. A woman in the second row asked, "How did you handle consent with a rooftop community?" And I answered with a sentence about jackfruit and honesty. A man with thick glasses asked, "Can you talk about the ethics of blurring?" And I said something that made the professor from the ethics lecture nod in a way that counted as a blessing. Then a hand at the back went up. It was a hand that looked like mine will one day. The man who stood was not young, not old, wearing a shirt that had tried. My stomach did a small, precise flip, like I was a coin deciding whether to be heads. He lowered his hand. He didn't ask a question. He just looked at me, the way you look through a window when the room is empty. I looked back. It could have been anyone. It could have been everyone. It could have been my father, or a man who knew him, or a stranger who had learned to carry a note with edges. The moderator glanced at me. I said, "Sometimes the question is a person, because I couldn't say, asterisk, are you the comment? Are you the rumor? Are you a room I don't know if I can enter? Asterisk." We moved on. The next film started. I sat in the dark and held my own hands where no one could see. Khoa's pinky found mine and hooked like a promise that didn't need to be notarized. After, in the lobby, people told me things about their mothers and fairy lights. The ethics professor squeezed my shoulder hard enough to be felt later. Two ate a piece of cake and declared it friendly, which made me choke. Mom introduced herself to two people as Min's mother in the blue shirt, and they looked at her like she was a celebrity, which she is. My aunt took photos that made us look like we were in a magazine about a different kind of life. Ha stood nearby with the satisfied grin of a man whose horse has placed well in a race he doesn't entirely understand. The man with the hand didn't come up to me. He left, or he waited outside, or he never existed. I expected to be wrecked by that. Instead, I felt steady, like I'd just put something important on a shelf labeled asterisk, asterisk. Later, asterisk, asterisk. We walked out under a sky that had the decency to be almost clear. The Institute's glass caught us and reflected us back the way buildings love to steal faces. Mom slipped her arm through mine, and for a second we were a three, me, her, Khoa, stuck in the glass like a postcard. I waved at our reflection. It waved back. "Hungry?" she asked. "Always," I said. We went for noodles. The stall wasn't ours. The broth was different. The basil was hand-torn instead of chopped. The lady behind the counter told Khoa he had nice eyebrows. He said thank you in a way that made it sound like a prayer. We ate. We didn't make content. We were content. On the walk home, Mr. Fuchs' alley was a dark mouth humming a song. Somewhere in it, a string vibrated in sympathy with a thing I'd never touch. I thought of the list pinned to my folder and the empty space at the bottom where I could add things as I grew. I thought of buses and screen scrapers and brand logos and the way a contract can feel like a glove or a trap depending on whether you wrote your name in it with a steady hand. I thought of a boy who asked permission from a note, and a woman who told me to make her honest, and a truck driver who reminded me that finishing is a magic most people never see. I thought of the blank afternoon, waiting at the end of summer like an open file. I could go to the institute full time if the money cooperated and the scholarship gods were in a mood. I could keep helping at the stall. I could make a series about the rainy season, about school carts, about hands and laughter, and the sound a broom makes in a room that is not yours. At the door to our building, Khoa kissed me properly, not like an apology. Then he touched his forehead to mine and said, "I like who you are when you don't have the camera on." "I like you when you do," I said. "It makes you glow in a way that isn't fair." "I will monetize my glow ethically," he said. "I will put it in a jar and sell it only to aunties." "Good," I said. "They'll treat it right." He went up to the roof to play for the water tank and the moon. I went inside. Mom turned off the light in the stall, rubbing her shoulder like a person who made 100 bowls and a good life. I took the asterisk, what we choose not to show, asterisk, file out of the folder, looked at it the way you look at a baby plant, worried, hopeful, ready to water. I added, asterisk. My father did not come up to me at the screening. That is a kind of kindness, or a kind of fear, or both. I will let the question be a person without pressing record. Asterisk. Then I saved. The computer did it anyway. When I lay in bed, the ceiling performed its usual shadow puppet show with headlights and prayer. My phone buzzed once. A message from asterisk user 483928 ***. I inhaled, exhaled, opened it. Asterisk. Your episode made me call someone I should have called. Thank you. Asterisk. I stared until the words felt like a small animal sleeping in my hand. I didn't write back. Or I did, later. Or I wrote back in the way I will live. Morning was waiting again, not as enemy, as choreographed possibility. I had an appointment with the ethics professor to talk about a film that wasn't made yet, and a brand meeting I was going to walk into without apologizing for not being shiny. I had basil to chop if Mom needed me. I had a boy to kiss badly, then better. The city inhaled and exhaled around me like a metronome that didn't care whether I kept up. I decided to breathe on the 4. I decided to finish things and keep some things unfinished on purpose. I decided to be a boy with verbs until I grew into a man with sentences. Before I slept, I set the camera on the desk and took the strap in my hand. It felt like a promise, sure. It also felt like a thing I could put down when I wanted to be more than the person who documents. In the morning, I'd pick it up again, or not. The door would still be there. The mirror would still be tricky. The river would still be making arguments with the wind. The diagonal shadow would return to the roof at the exact minute it always does, whether I thank it with a shot or let it pass without applause. Temporary, I said to the room, to the series, to the summer, to the version of me who needed to hear it. For now, the room said back. He saw the photograph and picked it up by the edges, respectful as a temple boy. He read the lines and snorted what in other men would have been a laugh. "Your Frenchman has learned tone marks," he said. "There is no saving him now." "He is not mine," she said automatically. He is yours in the way a bridge is yours, Bao said, kinder than his mouth liked to be. It does not belong to you. You belong to a city that uses it until the river asks it to be something else. He set the photograph down. Will you answer? I have nothing to send that will not tie him tighter to the wrong place, she said. She touched the corner of the image. I will answer here. And how do you answer here? Bao asked, and the question held no slyness. By keeping this room full, she said simply. By not letting the river in except when it comes as girls with wet feet and new words. So they did. They taught. They built banks out of pronouns and chalk. They used recipes to conceal geography, lullabies to smuggle arithmetic. They taught the boys, too, when it could be done without attracting men who measured the wrong doors. They made a grammar of survival and spoke it until it was as natural as breath. Sometimes, on a particular angle of morning, when light slid along the tin roof and fell onto the table like a letter without a name, Lin would take the photograph from its box and look at it with the shameless attention she allowed very few things. She would imagine a bead in a pocket touching a matchbox, a key, a string. She would say in her head, not out loud because her head had earned its privacy, Henri, and then return to the business of a city that required her hands. Years later, when the bridge had long since learned a new span and the river had taken back every nail men had ever refused to let rust, when the commissaire had been replaced by a man with a similar love of paper, when the mustache had become a face you thought you remembered from an era when men believed hats could keep them dry, a story would be told at the weaver's house on rain nights. It would be told by a woman whose sleeves were neat with letters and whose hair had the streaks of white that looked like rules in the right light. She would tell of a time when girls learned to hide sentences in hymns and when a man who built bridges took out his own tooth and left a gap that the city turned into a mouth for singing. She would not use names. Children listening would supply their own. In the story, the woman always wore a river against her ribs. In the story, the man carried a bead that a city had minded into his pocket. In the story, the river always rose and the dike always held, and sometimes they traded places, but people learned both ways to breathe. One of the girls from the kiln, now a mother who had discovered the cold pleasure of scolding a child into safety, would ask, "And did they ever cross?" She would mean, "Did they ever find a way to be in a room with only two people?" And the old grammar of mouths, and the woman, who had once been Lin and had never been anyone else, even when she needed to be, would say, "Every day." It would not be a lie. She would mean the crossing you do when you hand a chalk to a hand that does not know it is a torch, the crossing you do when you cut a thread and pull a seam and reveal a map that had waited in the dark for a brave moment. On a certain evening, when the jasmine was almost discourteous with its insistence, she would lock the shop door and sit at the back table and take out the photograph again. She would place it beside the ancestor tablet and the dish where the blue beads lay, now a little cloudy because glass remembers breath. She would strike a match and light a joss stick and place it in the sand. Smoke would rise like handwriting. "Mother," she would say to the wood that had not changed and to the river that could not help it, "we did not drown." She would place her palm against the map that had been washed and mended and re-sewn into a newer owl when time had asked for such repairs. We learned too many words for water. At the banyan, children would climb the lowest branch and hang upside down until the world's blood went to their faces and returned wiser. A woman with ink on her wrist would straighten a poster and pretend to hate the way the wind played with it. A clerk with a scar would close a drawer with the satisfaction of a nail in the right place. Somewhere far north or south or beyond, a man would touch his pocket without meaning to, and find his fingers warmed by glass. And the river, pleased with itself for reasons it seldom bothers to explain, would shoulder past the bridge's legs and go about its old, tireless business of carving, of carrying, of speaking all the names people have for it, and the one it has for itself,